for joining us for another episode number 2 today. We are back in action.
We're back in action, and we're hopefully sounding better to you guys, because a lot of people were upset.
Yeah, they were upset. They're like, I can only hear you guys out of one earphone, and I work, and I can only have one earbud, and it's
really... the last one was recorded not in stereo, so it was like two different...
Well, not only that, but I'm an amateur podcaster here, as you can tell.
We're just learning.
But I recorded both of our mics on the same track. So
okay, that makes sense.
It had to split both.
It's a lot more complicated than it looks, guys. It kind of just looks like some people have a microphone. The setup for a podcast is very, very intense. Like, it took Josh and I a long time to get this whole setup ready to go. And it took Josh, honestly. I should take zero credit for this. I just watched. And
you just sat on the sidelines and said, make a podcast studio. So I was like, let me Google
you know what?
that.
I picked out the table. Kind of, actually. Josh
That's
did that
true.
too. You were really the one who wanted it, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just showing up, basically.
Just showing up for the party, right?
Just showing up for the party.
No, but today it should sound better, should look better. We got a bigger green screen. We are pretty much set up, ready to go. So
yep.
Here we go. Actually, before we begin, let me cover a couple things here real quick. So for one, I just wanted to let everybody know that our podcast is now on iTunes, everybody. And shout out to everybody that went to iTunes without us even telling you and listening to the podcast there and leaving awesome reviews. And also on any of the sites, written reviews, if you have time to write a little one-liner about the podcast, or even A+ or F-, depending on what you think.
That would be nice to do.
That would be great. That actually really helps us out, helps us get the podcast seen. And that just means more people get to be woke. So that's like always a good thing, right?
Always a good thing.
So yeah, iTunes. It's also on, for all you Android users, it's on the Google Play or the Google Play Music Store. So you can subscribe to it there. It's also on Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud. And then obviously you can always listen on milehigherpodcast.com. But let me know in the comments, or for those that are watching on YouTube, if there are any other platforms that we're missing for podcasts. I think we've got all of them pretty much. Can you think of any? I can't think of any.
Dude, I'm the wrong person to ask about that. I have no idea. I've always just listened to podcasts on like SoundCloud. That's where I listen to like Shane and Friends.
And we'll try not to grab the mics constantly. So.
Oh, is that
just
bad?
A reminder? Yeah, it picks up everything. So just get it to a nice spot. It picks up even
when I like go like this?
No, that's fine. But the arm, if you move our arms. So.
But I move the arm a lot, Josh. I need
well,
flexibility.
It's fine. Just be conscious
sometimes
about
I like
it.
To sit back.
It's actually fine.
Sometimes I like to sit forward. Does that bother you guys when I do that?
No, it's fine. I can mute it. So or it's all good.
Okay. All right. You can mute it.
Yeah. Well, I can edit the track better. I'm still learning at this. Okay. I'm still learning the podcast ways. So
yeah. Well, hopefully I didn't even notice that in the last one. People were mad that I was moving the microphone.
Actually, I think it might just be more annoying for them to watch. I don't know. Anyways.
Well, hopefully no one is actually worried about what we're doing on the camera, right? Aren't we supposed to be able to just, I mean, geez, this is like an hour long. Sometimes I got to readjust here.
Yeah, no, we can do whatever we want.
All right. Okay. So anyway, what's up in life? It's Kendall, Ray, and Josh Lador here again.
Back
again. And excuse me for a second, Josh, I think it's time you explain what your name is, because no one knows.
Yes, no one knows.
Everyone thinks your name is Josh Lador.
Yes. I've never actually formally have said it since I started my channel. You don't say like, hey, what's up? It's Josh Lador? No, I always say Josh, actually. I should start saying Josh Lador.
People are like, what is Josh?
But that's why they're
Lador?
Confused, is because I don't know. I don't say it that much.
Sounds like a French name, Lador. I want to be Kendall Lador. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but if you can't tell, that's not our last name.
No.
Basically, there's a little quick funny story about how I got Josh Lador, came up with that. You want to tell that, Kendall?
No, how about you tell it?
I don't know.
It's your name.
The only thing I know is that we were just hanging out, I think, and what were we talking about?
You don't even remember, do you?
No, I don't remember at all.
This happened to be back during like the Jake Paul Rice Gum diss tracks. Or no, maybe it was earlier than that. It was something like there was something that we were watching with Anna Lee, and Oh, no, it couldn't have been that time. Maybe it was something. I don't even know. Ignore that whole part. Actually, that's impossible because that happened before. But we were watching something goofy with Annalie, like H3 or something. And I think it was the night we discovered H3. And we were just hanging out. And Annalie was like, and Annalie's my little sister, by the way, which she actually has a YouTube channel as well. She's hoping to try to start making videos again, but she's very busy. But anyway, she came up with the name, I came up with the name. She was just like, Josh, why don't you have a YouTube channel? And of course I'd been telling you this for like years, but Annalie was like, dude, do it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you could be called Joshaldor. And I just was
said it. And I don't even think I reacted to it or was like, that's cool. Or I want that to be my name. I think I just kind of put it in my back pocket. And then when I went to make a YouTube channel, you were like, why don't you just go by Joshaldor, like Dumbledore.
It's actually kind of embarrassing. I figured that since you really like Lord of the Rings, I was actually trying to think of Gandalf, but Dumbledore came to my head instead of Gandalf. So that's why I said Joshaldor.
What was the funny name you came up for Gandalf?
Josh Dolph.
Actually, let's poll the audience. Do you think I should change?
That doesn't even make sense at all. Ignore everything I just said.
I don't think anybody's listening to you, but
okay.
We should poll the audience and see. Her other name that she wanted me to use was Ganjosh.
Or Ganjosh. Yeah, that's what
or Gandosh or something.
Gandalf
and Josh mixed.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Joshaldor just sounds cool. So we were like, you know what? And then Josh actually did it. He was like, okay, that's my name. And then he did it. And that's the story of Joshaldor. And it's not Josh Lador.
No, it's one word. Joshaldor. It's like Dumbledore, except remove the dumb and put Josh in there instead. That's literally how it's spelled. But yeah, so for those that are searching me on YouTube as Josh space Lador, it's Josh Lador, one word.
Josh Lador, one word. Okay.
So funny. So
is there anything before we get into our main topic today, which the main topic for today, I guess we should have announced this, but I guess people can read the title too. The topic we are discussing today is ancient Egypt. All of the mysteries of this ancient culture and possibly a connection to aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see.
Going to be interesting to dive into some of the still unknown mysteries of ancient Egypt, perhaps one of the most advanced ancient civilizations that we know of. So
yes,
very interesting stuff. But what did you want to start out with today?
I don't know. I just thought before we get right into it, like in the beginning, we could. Well, what we're really wanting to do is eventually figure out a way to like ask you guys questions or let you guys ask us about certain topics and kind of do that as an intro. But today I'm just thinking like, is there any like news going on we can talk about or what's going on in the world? Donald Trump's calling like every place a shithole.
Yeah. Poor guy's losing his mind, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably. I think it's just going downhill. I think it's just going to get worse progressively this year.
Yeah.
So
what about Oprah? Can Oprah be president? What do we think about this whole situation?
I don't know. What's your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I just think all politicians are so corrupt and like fake and honestly not nearly as powerful as we think they are. They're more of just like a figurehead for the country and like a mascot almost, but like represents us obviously and gives speeches in hard times. But like, I just don't really think it matters that much if a celebrity's president. Like a lot of people are like, Oprah can't be president. She's not. What is she?
She's like, only a billionaire. She has her own TV network. She's done more charity than probably any of us will in our entire lives. So
yeah.
Basically a great human being. I
feel like if anything, America just needs a good voice. Like, and maybe a politician isn't the person to guide us or to influence people because, I mean, I'm sick of politicians. I don't know about any of you. They're all bought out by corporations. So I would be fine with another person. That's one thing I did like about Trump. I'm not going to lie, is that he had donors too, but a lot of it was funded by him, right? How much of it was funded by him?
A large majority of them. Large majority of his campaign, he self-funded, actually.
I honestly like that a little bit. Not that I agree with his message.
No, that's what you should have to do.
Yeah.
As a politician, as a part of
Hillary
running
Clinton
for office.
Was so bought out.
Yes, you should have to raise money and see if the people like you enough to give you money to help
like
your campaign.
Bernie Sanders, the only one who wasn't bought out by anyone?
The only one that was purely grassroots fundraising the whole time?
Yeah.
Nope, not that guy, because that guy is chosen by the people, but we won't get into that today. But
but for real, I think I'm down with Oprah 2020, Winfrey 2020. I'm here for it.
Yeah, or it doesn't even have to be Oprah. I mean, I'd be
Tom
open
Hanks.
to any non-political figure.
Elon Musk. Come on, Elon.
And I hope they would,
Mark Cuban.
My only concern is that, the experience level's not there as far as, dealing with the type of things that a president deals with. So
I just don't think they deal with quite as much as we think.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's all about your cabinet. So it's more of they kind of lead this team. If
Trump's doing it, Oprah can do it, let me tell you. Like, clearly.
No, I have no doubt she'd be able to make a great cabinet and have a great presidency.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Guess we'll see. This year's going to be something else, I think.
Yeah,
something for the record books, I think.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? Since we're getting into ancient stuff today, it's always just interesting to think of like how, like right now, Donald Trump is like such an important person. Like he's so famous and so talked about and discussed. But like there's so many people that have been that person over the years. Like it's incredible. And you're just forgotten about. Like we're not talking about a leader from 400 years ago, It's just interesting to me, like, while you're in it, it feels so important. But looking back, like, what will history books say? You know?
Not only that, but it's like it's such a small blip in our timeline.
Yeah,
4 years, small. Even 8 years is nothing. Like there's ancient rulers that ruled for like, their whole life, and then it just continued. So it was for hundreds of years. So, you have to just realize that this is temporary, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. Like it seems really shitty right now, and just the political climate's really heated, but I think everybody needs to take a step back and just take a deep breath and realize like this is temporary. We went through some shit with Bush. That was pretty rough. And, a lot of us are too young to really like remember exactly what that was like. But the people that went through that and went through Reagan, or not Reagan, but Nixon.
Yeah, Reagan was a good president.
Yeah, but people have been through this before. And so,
well, I guess none of them were good presidents, to be real.
But what is a good president?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even have that baseline.
That's true. I don't know, but I think it's important at the same time because what we're doing right now is going to affect the next couple 100 years. Like this 100-year period is just as important as like, So I think we have to like at least somewhat pay attention, even though I think a lot of like the mainstream stuff is kind of bullshit. I always tell Josh I have to still like know what's going on because it's like important. Like decisions that are made affect my grandchildren, so I have to be part of it, even though I think a lot of it's bullshit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does make sense.
No, am I talking too long?
No, you're doing fine. I'm just
okay.
Trying to get better with interrupting today. So.
Oh yes,
we need to get better at that.
Guys. Oh, we just did it again.
Yeah.
Damn it.
You gotta just
I'm sorry. Chill. So we're really like, we are married, obviously. And like, I don't know a married couple that doesn't interrupt each other. We just do it. And I think since we're so like, I wouldn't interrupt some random person, but I'll interrupt you and you interrupt me. And people like commented like, you guys need to stop interrupting each other. So we're really going to try and work on that and let each other talk.
Exactly. But I was going to add just a few more thoughts to this whole, presidency and just what's coming. And I don't know, man, like that video that I made about the Kardashev scale has got me like really thinking about human progress and human civilization. And especially with politics, like I think the most important thing that we all need to be focused on is making sure that we're progressing instead of progressing and then progressing, regressing.
Can you explain that scale a little bit for people that didn't see that video?
Absolutely. So the Kardashev scale is a hypothetical scale that was developed by Nikolai Kardashev. He's a Soviet, or he was a Soviet astrophysicist. And basically he created the scale to measure the different levels of civilizations that might exist in our universe. So obviously this isn't only grading our civilization, but potentially other alien civilizations that are out there. How advanced could they possibly be? And based upon the ability to harness energy is really what it's based on. but other people have contributed to it because he only made it for type 1, type 2, type 3, which let's just here. I guess I can just explain this real quick because it's kind of interesting. You want me to explain?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Please do.
So a type 1 civilization is basically a planetary civilization or planetary society where we basically know how to harness all of the planet's natural resources and energies, such as like wind, solar, hydro, all sorts of things like that. I think I'm missing one, but and not only that, but we also have the ability to harness the energy of the sun better. So what this really means for us on Earth would mean we got rid of fossil fuels, stopped burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, natural gas, and everything was solar.
So because we don't have that and we're not even close to being like fully sufficient on natural energy, is that why we're a type 0? Is that
Correct.
the main reason?
Correct. Yeah, exactly. So because we still burn these fossil fuels and it doesn't seem like that's going away anytime soon, we are a type 0. So we're not even on the scale yet. And this scale goes up to 3, and actually hypothetically it could go up to 5 or even infinite. I mean, who knows? But when you start going up the scale, it starts getting just crazier in the fact that these civilizations have the abilities to, not only travel to other planets and utilize other planets and stars in their star system, but eventually they have the ability to completely just traverse universes or even create their own galaxies and universes, like based upon technological progression over time. This is over mass amounts of time, by the way. This is like millions of years potentially, but I mean, we just don't know. But it's an interesting hypothetical scale to think about.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that we're so low on it, and chances are is that there's probably alien civilizations that are type 2 or type 1 that.
And this goes up to type 7.
Type 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is basically God-like beings.
God-like beings.
They're so technologically advanced and intellectually smart that they're basically gods. They've figured out how to create something from nothing, pretty much.
Josh was telling me last night, I was like getting really scared of like comets hitting Earth randomly. I was like, what if that happens? So if we were a type 1 planet, we'd be able to stop a comet from hitting Earth?
I believe, no, it's type 2.
Oh, type 2.
Type 2, yeah.
So we're not even close.
No,
then.
we're
so
still,
no chance.
yeah, and we're thousands of years from being close
God
to a type
damn.
2. So
Humans.
But yeah, so
Hard
it's
to be
just
a little human.
To get back to my original point. We just need, as a society, we need to continue progressing and moving forward. And I think we're going to see a shift in the next, 5, 10, 20 years. Mm-hmm. And we're going to start seeing our civilization shifting in the right direction, I think. Because I think people are waking up and people are realizing that we can all have a much better society. And that's the thing about this, is that if we can just get to a type 1 civilization, that basically means that we have unlimited energy for everybody. Nobody will be without power or electricity or fresh water. It will be a utopian society almost. I mean, it will be such a better place because people won't be stressed out. Honestly, there may not even be need for money because resources will be so abundant because we are collectively one. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, that means, New World Order, that's what you're talking about, a planetary society, like you're talking about one government, one people, there's no borders, there's no more countries, we're all just humans on planet Earth. That's our address. We don't have, like, I'm from the U.S.
Our address. Earth.
Can you imagine a society like that? And do you think that would be what kind of place do you think that would be?
I don't know, man. It's like, it could go either way. It could be really good if it had the right, it all depends on the leadership of this one unified group of people. But I don't know.
It'd be a collective society. So not necessarily, it would be, fair representation, I guess.
Interesting. Well, explain, like, I think a lot of people, when you say like there'd be like this free energy source and everyone would be taken care of, like a lot of people don't know about that. Which, by the way, Thrive is a free documentary you can watch on YouTube. And
I'm just talking about energy sources we already know of, like wind and solar. If we have the ability, it's been a money thing supposedly, but it's more been the fossil fuel industry. But
I feel like to get to the level where we're at type 1, we'd have to figure out something even newer than that, something even more advanced. Yeah. And that is possible. In fact, there's a lot of people that are trying to research it and they're not getting like any funding. I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah, because basically there's a type of energy that exists just everywhere. It just as a part of space and the air around you. Essentially, it exists. And what I don't know what you call it exactly.
It could be like dark energy, how they refer to dark energy.
Yeah, it could be this unknown force that exists. But there's a way to harness this energy, and there's technology to do it, but chances are it's been suppressed. It's been, confiscated by the government, possibly.
It is possible. We could be living in a world where everyone is like fed, just at least basic needs are taken care of. We could get there, and we are just being held back from it. I mean, it's very sad when you learn the truth about it.
Well, that's the point I made in my video, was that literally we are being held back. Like they are, like the powers that be, as I said, are keeping us from advancing as a civilization.
Yes.
And that's my point.
Because we're dependent on them.
Exactly. They force us to be dependent on them by eliminating these other natural resources. That's why renewable energies is, I can't believe that like renewable energies isn't farther than it is. Like I can't believe we're almost at 2020 and we're still using oil, gas. I'm still putting gasoline into cars and things like it's
destroying our planet. I don't think people quite understand, or they're just not listening. Like, it's going to destroy the planet. I mean, I can't believe people just don't want to hear about it. I mean, it's shocking because this is the only thing that we have. It's the only way the human race is going to survive unless we literally find a new planet. This is it, man. And if we screw it up, that's it.
If you want my opinion, I think the government, U.S. government, maybe even world, all the world governments are literally planning to colonize Mars and use that as kind of an escape route for the elites and for the people that have money. Oh my
God, damn, that's a real crazy theory.
Isn't it?
So you don't believe that fully, but you're just at least considering it.
Not fully, but I think it's interesting to think about because
it is possible. That's for sure.
Very possible.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, this could be like literally some interstellar shit. Like we can't grow crops. Yeah. It's too hot. There's dust everywhere. And everybody's so
the leaving. Richest, most powerful people will go to Mars.
Right, exactly.
But there may not be an atmosphere on Mars.
Well, they're going to terraform it. Did you hear that?
No.
Just like how you make your little terrariums or whatever. They're going to build those types of things on Mars. Like that's in the works right now. And missions are planned.
This
NASA,
life is crazy, man.
SpaceX. Everybody's planning to go to Mars. Like that's next. We're going to see people heading to Mars, and definitely in our lifetime.
Oh yeah. Well, there's already what about that whole thing? Did they ever figure out the team that's going to go to Mars and not come back? Remember there was a group that was going to do that you could sign up for a trip where you'd go to Mars and never come back.
I don't think was that Mars or was that the moon? I don't remember.
Why would it be the moon? You can come back from the moon.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was just a trip. It was a one-way trip to Mars.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Was that SpaceX?
Okay, I'm looking it up. This is why we have laptops here, folks.
Was that SpaceX?
Someone was mad I was looking up things. I'm like, dude, this is a podcast. It's natural conversation. So sometimes you think of something to say and you have to verify. Yo.
Well, yeah. I mean, the podcast is not supposed to be rehearsed. We're not supposed to have a whole script.
It's a conversation. These are not supposed to be like our videos. I know some people are like, this is not like our videos. Well, it's not.
Yeah,
it's a
our
podcast.
videos are a lot more scripted, but
it's like a radio station, basically. It's like talk radio.
We want you guys to feel like you are sitting across the table from us, just chilling,
hanging out,
talking about some interesting shit. So
okay, so
one-way ticket to Mars, baby.
One-way ticket to Mars.
Oh, it's the Mars One team.
Mars. Okay.
Oh,
Apply now. CNN.com.
This is old though. This is like
Mars One. Yeah, I don't know. They were going to establish the first human settlement on Mars. Okay, so Mars One aims to establish a permanent human settlement on Mars. Several unmanned missions will be completed, establishing a habitable settlement before carefully selected and trained crews will depart to Mars. Funding and implementing for this plan will not be easy. It will be hard. The Mars One team, with its advisors and with its established aerospace companies, will evaluate and mitigate risks and identify and overcome difficulties step by step. You should seriously read everything on this podcast. I have dyslexia and it's so hard to read. Like,
it's okay.
It's embarrassing.
I'm sure there's people that can relate.
Yeah, who can relate?
But interesting, right? It sounds like they've got finalists already for it. It looks like.
Okay. Yeah.
There's 5 Americans actually that are finalists for this one-way trip to Mars.
They're going to be the first. Oh, how exciting. Like, your kids are going to grow up on Mars. Like, if you get pregnant while you're there, you have a baby on Mars. The first Mars baby. In fact, there probably have been life on Mars, though, before.
That's another episode.
Yeah. All right. You ready to get right into Egypt?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, this is a pretty long intro. So.
Well, it's okay.
Unless you have anything else
it's
to
long.
say.
We'll go out however long we need to. Well,
or
we
we'll
can only
do
go so
part
long
one,
because
part
we do
two.
have friends coming over tonight.
Part 1, part 2.
Okay.
Did you have anything else, though, you wanted to add about our conversation before we move on?
No, I'm good. I'm ready for some Egypt. Ready for some Egypt. I'm even wearing my lapis lazuli.
Lapis lazuli?
It was the stone of the god Isis in Egypt. Very powerful and very, very popular stone in ancient Egypt.
So
makes you woke, too. That's why I wore it today. Boom.
Makes you woke. So, Egypt. What the hell is up with the Egyptians, man? They be doing some crazy stuff.
Dude, I don't think
they knew some shit. They knew some shit for
if
sure.
If you don't know, you're about to find out, because the Egyptians were so advanced. They are the most mysterious. The biggest mystery in the world is the Egyptians, hands down.
They're on some next level shit. I mean, I swear, they're super intelligent. But if you guys don't know what Egypt is or where Egypt is a country in North Africa. It's not next to Peru, like Kendall said earlier.
No,
I was like,
I didn't say it was next to Peru. I was like, if you and I plan a trip to Peru, could we like hop on over to Egypt in the process? And Josh was laughing because
I was like,
I know it's
yeah,
know it's in Africa. Okay, I knew that. I'm just saying. I thought maybe, I don't know. I'm not good with geography and planes.
That's all right, but it's on the northeastern corner of Africa on the Mediterranean Sea, and it is home to one of the oldest civilizations on Earth. Literally on Earth. This is one of the oldest civilizations, the Egyptians.
Yes.
In fact, their whole empire civilization lasted for thousands of years, from 8,000 BCE to 30 BCE, so before Christ.
So like 22,000 years. Did I just do that?
No.
Wait, sorry. I'm sorry. What did you say?
I said 8,000. It's kind of hard to calculate from 800 or 8,000 BCE to 30 BCE.
Oh, 30.
So it's like, I thought
it was 30,000. That's why I said that.
Yeah.
30? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's like 5,300 years, I think. God, that's the one thing I didn't write down.
Sorry, of course I ask you like an annoying question.
Come on, me.
I've got lots of questions.
Okay.
I'm so bad with like the before Christ and this and the AD.
Yeah, I guess I should have calculated.
I really struggle. I've always struggled with that. And I'm just not good with numbers in general and like remembering that kind of stuff.
Oh, man. Okay, so yeah, for more than 5,000 years.
Well, I don't think people fully know like exactly when.
Well, that's the thing is like we don't even know exactly when they like got started. When they first created their civilization, we don't even know. We have no idea. But the way that historians have basically told us about Egypt's history, they've basically divided it into 31 dynasties, which are periods of time. Right? 31 dynasties.
Mm-hmm.
So And then out of those 31 dynasties, to make it simple, because nobody can remember all these dynasties, they've separated it into 3 periods, with the 3 periods being the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom. So that's how they sort of separated it. But the ancient Egyptians, they settled and made their civilization and society near the Nile River, which, if you don't know the Nile River, it's pretty much as big as the Amazon, and it might be longer actually, but it's a very big river in Egypt that flows all the way down the country and into others, I believe. And so they settled near the rivers of the Nile, and that was very important to their culture and to their religion. The Nile River was actually. So when they settled near the river valley around 3500 BC. And this is known as the Old Kingdom.
Okay.
And it was actually separated into Upper and Lower Egypt. But so it lasted for 5,300 years or so. And it finally fell in 332 BC or before Christ. Alexander the Great drove them out of Egypt and basically took over Egypt. Pretty interesting, right? But they were around for a very long time. So let's see here. So jumping right into it, why don't you talk about the everyday life of an ancient Egyptian?
Why don't I talk about it?
Okay.
Was I supposed to be prepared for this?
Yeah.
I do.
What
I mean,
are you
I know
browsing the internet
some
for
things.
right now?
I'm not browsing the internet. I'm trying to log into my Pinterest because I saved something on my board that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So I'll just continue the general overview of Egypt.
I have stuff to say, but not about this.
Okay. So the people of ancient Egypt it was a very advanced society. They had jobs. There was craftspeople, scribes, priests and priestesses, farmers and soldiers, and men and women were treated very well. And women could hold same types of jobs as men. It seemed like they had a very elevated society, or a highly evolved society.
Yeah, they did.
Except, interesting fact, the average girl married at around the age 12. Which was pretty common for those days, which is so bizarre.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Why did they do that? I don't know.
Oh, that's like so creepy.
That's so bad. Like, what the hell?
Well, you know what? It still happens today. Creepily enough.
But women were treated with high respect. They held jobs like administrators. They were supervisors as well as priestesses. And later on, there was even a ruler of Egypt by the name Cleopatra. But
Cleopatra?
No.
Did you say Cleopatra?
No, I said Cleopatra.
I'm pretty sure
there was a number of
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra?
I was like, is there a male version of Cleopatra named Cleopatra?
Yes, her husband's name is Cleopatra. Petro and Petra.
Was she married?
No, I don't think so.
Actually, no. Okay.
But anyways, they were very advanced. Everybody wore jewelry and makeup, supposedly.
Really?
Yes. And they took cleanliness very seriously. They had baths. Everybody dressed in nice clothes made out of nice linen. So that would have been a very interesting and cool sight to see if we could see like what Egypt was actually like, kind of just like fly over it and see what they were doing. It sounds like a very cool society.
Oh yeah.
They loved very beautiful things.
Oh yeah.
For being in the desert, it was
They were
very
definitely
beautiful.
bougie, man. They were really bougie.
They were definitely bougie. They were bad and bougie.
Yep.
It was kind of dangerous to bathe actually because
dangerous to bathe?
Yeah, because they bathed in the Nile River, which the Nile River has some crazy animals in it. No, actually one of the biggest threats was hippopotamus or hippopotami. Hippopotamus is basically.
Hippopotamize?
Yeah. Can you imagine bathing and then just like looking over and seeing a huge ass hippopotamus next to you.
Do they like charge at you, hippopotamuses?
They bite you, dude. They have huge teeth.
Oh, I hate Pinterest. Can't get into my account. It sucks. I had to like make a new account. I had all these cool things saved. Now I'm just gonna try to find them. So annoying. Okay, continue.
But perhaps what was most important to ancient Egyptians was religion and their gods.
Yes.
And this is what makes them so intriguing and so mysterious, is the fact that they were very spiritual people. And in fact, religion influenced nearly every aspect of ancient Egyptians' lives. It literally was infused in everything.
Yeah.
And it was very important to them. And
the gods even had like a family tree. Like the gods, goes back to a god called Nun.
Yeah.
And then there's Atep. But then they literally, you can see where they got married. Like I have this cool graph I found on Pinterest that I'll have Josh link in the description just because it's really interesting to see. But like some of the gods were like, there was a hippo god. So obviously they were used to hippos.
They had a god they actually had over 2,000 gods and goddesses total.
Yeah, and I always thought Thoth was a really, really powerful god, but he's pretty low on this.
Well, that's a family
chart.
tree. That's not like how
the family
powerful
tree.
they are.
Oh, yeah.
That's just a family tree because the creator god is actually.
That made no sense. Sorry. Yeah. Here's Isis.
Yeah.
That sounds weird saying it. Why did Isis have to ruin the word Isis? Because it used to be like a really cool name.
Scroll up. Yeah, a 10. But anyways, religion was extremely important to them.
There was even affairs. Look, there was like affairs in the gods. Affair. You can see where there were affairs.
The gods had affairs?
Yeah.
That's funny.
This one had an affair with Ptah.
But what's interesting about them is that they always were believed in many gods, except for one time period. Actually, one of the kings actually practiced monotheism, so one god.
And that's Ra, right?
And they went back. Well, I don't remember exactly which god it was that they believed in at that time. It probably was Ra. But it was one god. They just took one. I think it might have been Amun, which was the creator god. But but it might have actually, it probably was Ra because Ra was very important to them. But
so interesting. Most of the gods like have like symbols where they're like holding a script or like they're like knowledge bestowers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what I love too is there's just as many female gods, and they were badass too. Like some of them are holding like arrows and stuff, and women were regarded just as equally as men in Egypt, which is really cool. And I wish it was still like that today, because for many reasons. But I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. This is really interesting though. Not only was life extremely important, but the afterlife was even more important to them.
Yeah.
So they were living based upon the fact that life went on after death. And they really loved their life. And in fact, they only, their life expectancy was only 40 years old at best.
Wow.
That's true.
I'd be over halfway through.
Because many didn't even live to see 40.
Wow.
Because that was just the time period they were in, and there was lots of conflicts and things like that they had to deal with,
and a lot of disease and stuff.
But most importantly, though, they believed in preservation of the body and providing the deceased with all the essentials they would need in the afterlife. And this is what, when people think of ancient Egyptians, I think we all immediately think of mummies, because that's really what I remember learning about in school was the mummification process and thinking how wild that is. And the fact that they do that is just bizarre.
Oh my God. I remember I went to the Denver Museum of Science, and what is it? It's just of science, or is it science and history?
It's Denver Museum of Nature and Science.
Nature and Science. Okay. Yeah. It's a great museum. If you're ever in Denver, I love going there. Get some rock candy too. It's pretty bomb. But yeah, I went there as a kid, and they have like a huge exhibit on Egypt. And I remember learning that they pull your brain out through your nose, like
with
after you're dead,
hook.
obviously. Yeah, a big long hook, and they pull it. And I remember just being like repulsed. Like I couldn't even think about it. I went home that night, and every time I would remember it, I would just get like almost nauseous. It really freaked me out. It's pretty wild though. They went through like an intense process when people died. And did they do that for everyone or just people that were of importance?
Yeah. It was mostly people of importance, kings, things like that, specifically because they had the money and resources to do that.
I think it's so interesting that we just accept that as some weird thing the Egyptians did. Just be like, we don't know why, just some weird like.
But all Egyptians believe that death is just a brief disruption in life, and that if
they
they followed
believed life was like eternal.
Right, if they followed these funeral methods and mummification process, the deceased could live without pain in the afterlife. That was their thought.
But maybe they're right. Like that's what I was trying to say just now, is that I think a lot of people just dismiss it as just like stupid, like something weird that they did, like some weird culture thing and nothing more to it. Like, could it be that since they're closer to the origins of life, that it was actually that they were supposed to be doing that now? Like, people just dismiss things that ancient cultures did and just think they're just weird things that they did, but they could be really, really important, and we're like missing out on something really important by not trying to understand it more deeply.
I completely agree with you. Here's an interesting thought though. When I, started studying about their religion and their religious beliefs, what I found is that the way that it works is that the better you live and the more good deeds you do in your life now, the better the afterlife's going to be for you. And what they believed was that the god Anubis actually weighed your heart after you died, and based upon and it's very
like
interesting.
The Grinch. Heart was 2 sizes too small.
That's so funny that you said that, but but if your heart was heavy with bad deeds, you would be devoured by Amat, the soul eater, the god, and the person would not live in the afterlife.
I hope that's not true. Wait, so if your heart was bigger, you'd get punished. So you'd want your heart to stay small, so you'd want to be like the Grinch.
Right.
Interesting.
But what's more interesting is that they basically believed in the same concept that Buddhists and Hindu people believe of, like yin and yang, positive and negative energy.
Which is also part of astrology as well, folks.
Yes. They actually believed in those two aspects. They just called it Ra and Ba, or Ka and Ba, sorry.
Did you say yin and yang?
Yin and yang, sorry.
I was like, yang.
Sorry, I think a lot of people think it's a yin yang. Ruined it for me.
Oh, is that actually what
that's
they're called?
What it
yeah,
is.
They're not called yin yang twins.
No, they're the yin yang. So that stuck in my mind all these years. But yeah, interesting that they believed and that's one thing that everybody I think needs to understand, is that all the religions believe basically the same thing, in good and bad, good and evil.
Yeah. Forces of light and dark.
Right. And if you do good deeds, it improves your chances of moving on in the next life. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But they infused it with all of these gods and goddesses.
Yeah.
Which is odd, and it makes you wonder, like, who came up with these? Like, how did they even come up with, like, gods and goddesses? And
I don't know.
First of all,
they must go way back, because
that's the thing, is they do go way back. They could go back even farther, because
they definitely do, because Thoth was thought to be like at the start of life on Earth,
right? Which, if you don't know, the Egyptians were alive 12,500 years ago, roughly around there. Was when they were around. But
Thoth was the creator of he was the inventor of writing and alphabets, hieroglyphs themselves. He created their language, according to them.
Yeah, the written language of hieroglyphics.
He was also considered to be the scribe of the underworld, the moon.
Huh.
I don't know. Never mind.
But I was going to say that people have been, the earliest hominids have been predicted to have been around 350,000 years ago. So that's a long time. And
it's changing all the time. It goes back more, sometimes they think it's even older. So I bet it's way older than that, if that's just what we figured out.
Yeah. So we don't even know exactly when, the hominids moved into Egypt and Egypt was formed, or when the first Egyptians were there. We have a rough estimate, per se.
But they probably came from sub-Saharan Africa, right?
Yeah, everybody came from Africa originally.
But It's really interesting. I was listening to something today. You know, the Sphinx?
Yeah.
It looks like, the face looks like a sub-Saharan African face. So it may not have even been built by them.
Right.
And it could have just been restored by them or changed. It could have been a lion at first.
Yeah, no, we don't. I mean, honestly, we believe that the Sphinx was there before the pyramids were even there.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. It definitely, that's what people think.
But before we get into the pyramids, because that's really what this is about, I'm just trying
everyone wants to
to
know about the pyramids.
tell you about some interesting things that the Egyptians did.
Yeah.
But
we're already at 45 minutes.
we're good. We'll move through this fast. We're all good. We're all good. We have unlimited time.
Well, we have an hour and a half left until we have to go upstairs.
But basically the ancient Egypt was ruled by kings, or better known as pharaohs. So there was quite a few over the, period that the civilization was alive and around. Most famously, a lot of us know King Tut, because he was found fairly-ish recently.
Yeah.
And he was also the youngest pharaoh in the history of Egypt. Fun fact about King Tut, though. I didn't even know this, but when we found King Tut, apparently he had an erect penis. No joke. He was
Dad
literally
like a boss.
No, he was literally mummified with an erect penis.
Wow, that's honestly like super interesting. Isn't that impossible? How could that have happened?
And he was only 18 when we think he died.
What?
Yeah. And not only that, but
Tutankhamun is his full name.
But his skin was like completely black
it was,
because of a liquid they put on him. So they think that he was literally like burned before he was mummified.
Like alive?
Or his skin was burned or something. Because
maybe they didn't care about that. That they were like, well, it's my time to go to the other world. So I'm ready to die. What if they just like got in their tombs like that? Or no? That's crazy though.
Yeah. It's
wow.
Pretty bizarre.
So he was discovered in 1915, just for people who are wondering.
And so pretty much all of the leaders of Egypt, kings, pharaohs, were mummified. And we haven't even found probably half of them. I'm sure there's still many buried under feet of sand.
Wow.
Along with other temples and structures we still haven't found.
God, it's so interesting. Can you imagine being the person that found him? So crazy.
Yeah. But what was extremely important to the Egyptians was that they honor their gods and goddesses. So they did build a lot of temples. And they actually believed that the temples that they built were the home for the gods.
Mm.
And they obviously used it as a place of worship and sacrifices. So there was a number of temples. One of the biggest temples, or most famously discovered, was the Luxor Temple. Luxor Hotel.
That's what it's named after?
Yeah. The Luxor Hotel. No,
cool.
I've always wondered that too. And I was like,
Luxor.
That's where they got it.
That makes that even cooler.
Yeah.
I've stayed there before. The elevators in that hotel are wild. They like shoot you up sideways. Like, not even kidding. You go up like a pyramid.
Yeah, it's so cool. I love that place whenever we go in there.
Dude, but I stayed there and I came home like drunk as hell from my senior trip with my friends, and I was like on the floor going up the elevators because I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna like throw up or fall over. That they're crazy, especially when you're drunk. Because they go up sideways. Like, it's literally
so
an
weird.
elevator that goes up the side of a pyramid. Can you imagine what that would feel like?
Yeah, no, it looks crazy.
Josh just signaled to me I'm being too loud. Am I too
No,
loud?
you're not being loud. You're not talking in front of your mic.
That's why. Okay.
Be conscious of your
Yeah.
mic.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm still learning. But yeah, those are wild. If you've been in them, you probably know what I'm talking about.
All right. So obviously what you all came for, the two most mysterious pieces of architecture.
Architecture.
I always butcher words when I'm talking about stuff. But the two main and most famous pieces of architecture of ancient Egypt, the Great Sphinx and the Pyramids of Giza.
Yes.
We'll start with the Great Sphinx real quick.
Okay.
The Great Sphinx is on the Giza Plateau, and the builder we have no idea who the builder was, and we have no idea the date of creation of
so it could
the
be
Sphinx.
super, super old.
But most historians believe that the pharaoh Khafre built it around 2500 BC, and it's actually one of the oldest, if not the oldest and largest monuments in the entire world. So it's old, folks. I mean, it's really old. And
it's huge.
If you stop to think about that, that thing is dope. That thing is awesome. How the hell did they carve that shit? And what did it look like in its prime? When they first finished that must have been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's clearly meant to portray a pharaoh or a king, perhaps this pharaoh Khafre.
Well, some theorists believe that it was actually a lion at one point, and it was changed to a pharaoh's head. That's what some people think. According to that expert that lives in Egypt.
Interesting.
That I saw earlier.
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But more famously, the pyramids of Giza, which are one of the wonders of the world. Hopefully, we get the opportunity to go see them ourselves because they look amazing. I'm very jealous of my grandparents. They actually went to Egypt a while back, but they actually got to ride a camel over to the pyramids. Go in them.
Your grandparents are such goals.
Oh, I know. Such goals.
My grandpa's been everywhere too, and I'm pretty sure.
Has he been to the pyramids of Giza?
I'm sure he has because he's Egyptian. He's Persian.
He's not Egyptian. He's
not Egyptian, but he's from
Syrian
Egypt.
or no, is he Persian? I don't know.
Yeah, he's
something.
Yeah, honestly, I never seem to get a full answer. So I don't know exactly where. I don't think he quite knows, or my family knows,
But these pyramids are a sight to see, and there's 3 of them in a line, and the largest stands 455 feet tall and is made up over 2 million blocks of stone. 2 million blocks of stone.
Oh, by the way, I don't want people to think I'm Egyptian, by the way. I'm not biologically related to my grandfather.
Yeah, that's a good...
Because people are going to be like, oh my God, I'm Egyptian too. People love to connect. I'm not Egyptian.
But obviously,
I wish I was.
But obviously the biggest mystery to all of this is that we have no fucking clue how the pyramids were built.
Yeah, and it's like
no clue.
Oh my God, it's such
modern science has no idea. Can't explain many of Egypt's accomplishments, but specifically the pyramids.
Yeah, the Pyramid of Giza has 2,500,000 stones.
That's incredible, dude.
That's so many.
What the hell?
And they weigh between 2 and 80 tons. Dude, seriously? Like, it would take pretty much probably a full day to put like 10 in place. And if you did that, it would take 600 years, did you know, to build them if you did 10 a day. They're huge. How much is a ton is a lot.
I think the estimate is it would take like 20 people to do one stone.
Yeah, so it just makes absolutely no sense. And like, obviously, it's not even something that we could do now. So how the hell were they doing it then? And people think they were like so much less advanced than us. No. Try again.
Yeah, no,
I know. Clearly had something that we don't have now.
Right. So the debate is among historians and among most people is how the hell were they built? Academic, basically the history books as they're written right now say that slaves built the pyramids and they had just their janky old tools and they carved it out of stone and then they moved it on by ox or something and dragged these stones across the desert and built them over hundreds of years, apparently. But more and more evidence is suggesting a different story.
Yeah, right. And here, The Guardian.
It begins here.
Proof that workers were not slaves. We don't even know if they had slaves.
In Egypt,
which may question the whole caste system and everything.
Right. Maybe there wasn't slave labor there at all. I mean, the Bible tells us differently, but maybe the Bible's making up shit.
Well, don't you think it's so interesting that we're like told that so securely? And you know what is even more interesting is why the hell is the pyramids on our dollar bills? Like, I just don't understand. it's almost like a symbol for something. Like the caste system is literally a triangle and like the most powerful at the top. So I feel like it's almost a symbol of that, or like showing us that that's what's really going on, is that we're all ruled by
we're at the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah.
We make up the base.
I know. I've just never understood that. And the eye, like all the symbol on our money is so weird. And I didn't even notice this till the other day. It says Federal Reserve note right on our dollar bills.
Yeah, that's bizarre. Why is it a federal note?
Yep.
Anyways, well, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole today. We're getting off topic, but the development of the pyramids of Giza is a complete mystery still to this day. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows exactly how they were built or designed, because it required extreme skill. Precision, knowledge, technology. I mean, there's just no other way. So the theory that we're going to talk about is...
Hang on. I'm reading this right now. Apparently, now they're thinking that slavery was started in ancient Egypt in the New Kingdom.
Yeah, no, it most likely was.
And slave service and peasants kingdom, made up 80% of the population.
We're not talking about the New Kingdom. The pyramids of Giza were built in the Old Kingdom.
I know that. I'm just saying, since we were talking about the slaves. No, I obviously know that they weren't built in the last part.
Right, but nobody's debating if they had slaves or not. Just in the Old Kingdom, there's debate that there was slaves or not.
Right.
We don't know for sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that I wasn't saying that like they never had slaves.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But the Great Pyramid is huge. It's very
really
huge.
Big.
The thing weighs 6 million tons, dude. The whole thing weighs 6 million tons.
That's wild.
And the base of this pyramid covers 13 acres. Or the pyramids of Giza, all of them cover 13 acres. And they're basically 750 feet along each side. So on each side, there's 750 feet. The largest one is 481 feet tall. And like Kendall said, it was built with 2.5 million stones, which were extremely precise.
Yeah, not to mention that if you were off by even like a third of an inch, you're like screwed by the time you get to the top. So this was like extremely well thought out.
So how the hell did normal ass people do this? I mean, I don't get it.
We don't know.
Can you think of it?
No. And what's crazy about it
is like they took ramps and just like dragged these boulders up. There's no way. We wouldn't even do that today. We wouldn't be able to do that today.
There's literally no way that is what they were doing.
Unless they had but rope's not going to work for that. You need heavy ass modern machinery to do that. And even then that's a struggle for the size of these stones and the weight. That's a lot of weight. What could handle that? I don't know.
I don't know either. It just makes no sense.
But more interestingly, is interestingly a word? Yeah, it is. Interesting.
Interestingly enough.
Interestingly enough, this is where things start getting bizarre, because really, how did this ancient civilization know to align the pyramids to true north without a compass? They did this without a compass. How did they know which way was north unless they had advanced astronomical knowledge? They obviously knew where the North Star is. They knew which the directions.
They definitely did.
And it is aligned to true north to a fraction of a degree. That's how precise it is.
And apparently a compass was not invented for a few thousand years after the Egyptians were long gone.
What the hell?
Sounds about right. Yeah, it's like the exact magnetics.
And even more interestingly, the Great Pyramids are actually aligned with the polar radius of our planet. So they knew the dimensions of our planet. The polar radius of our planet.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that believe that basically, well, this is when it starts to get into ancient alien theories. But
that's what we're talking about.
I know. But if it's possible that if aliens have ever been on Earth, they built the pyramids because they're lined up with North and South Pole. Like, and we have these like natural magnetics. So.
Right. That's why we have magnetic field.
And I mean, I think most people know this, but the Egyptians weren't the only ones with pyramids. They are all over the place, and they're lined up freakishly with everything. I mean, it's so weird.
And the Great Pyramids were actually aligned with Orion's belt.
Yes.
So they knew about Orion's belt. They knew about constellations. And why is a better question. Why did they do this? Why not just throw pyramids somewhere that's convenient for you?
Yeah.
Why drag them out to... And I think if I recall correctly, isn't it like 500 miles from the source of the stone that they had to use? Like, they somehow got these millions of tons of stone across like 500 miles.
Yeah,
or
that
something.
wasn't like indigenous to them.
It wasn't like they like built it right next to where they extracted the stone from. They hauled the stone across.
This is so interesting. When you stand on the Sphinx and you look at the two pyramids, you can see the sun will, if it's on the summer solstice, you can see the sun in the exact middle of the two. And they think that was purposely done.
Of course it was. You might as well align it with the summer
For them
solstice.
to have done this, they would have had to have knowledge of the summer solstice, and therefore they must have known the exact length of a year, 365.25. Once again, this fact was not discovered until long after the Egyptians were gone.
I'm telling you, they had some advanced knowledge, and that's why, as Ancient Aliens teaches us, that ancient astronaut theorists believe extraterrestrials built the pyramids, folks.
Folks.
At least
we're not sure.
At least aliens were involved.
Yeah.
Because as far as we know, they did not have the technology nor the knowledge to build these pyramids. And these pyramids have, for being built by humans, they have almost little to no errors to them. They are so precise.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that people or the history books believe that they were built by slaves, which is what I was taught in school, was that the pyramids were built by slaves. Be interested to know if any of you have an update to that and see if they're still teaching it that way in schools. But
did you know they believed in astrology? It's just a different form of it. Egyptian astrology.
Obviously they had to have known astrology.
And that's what I want to understand. And I've asked this to people before, but how the hell did they know about like Pluto? And what? They obviously had knowledge that we didn't. I mean, it's so obvious.
Yeah. And they knew what pi was.
Yeah. No. They knew a bunch of stuff.
They knew pi.
Okay. How about this too? They somehow had some type of light source that we didn't have, because in the pyramids, there was all these chambers and shafts that obviously.
You're getting ahead of me here.
Okay, Josh, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay. You're going to jump there?
Josh has to be like so damn organized. I'm sorry, but I have ADD and that's just not going to work.
I have a plan.
I got to get the thoughts out when I have them.
We have a plan.
Just let me tell this real fast. This is interesting.
I know
They
it's
somehow
interesting.
knew how to light up the pyramids, because it's not like they could bring a torch in there because of the oxygen. It would instantly go out. So they had some type of source of illumination that we don't have.
Well, it wouldn't instantly go out.
Well, because there's like corners and stuff. There was like tunnels where you had to turn.
It'd be hard to keep it lit throughout. Unless
it would
they
be
had
impossible
some way
to keep it lit for how big these are, dude.
Yeah.
To light the whole thing, they could light the whole thing.
Right. But a personal one. I thought you were talking about a personal torch.
Yeah, you could go partly through it, but you can't after a while. In the shafts, you can't.
So they think that they had electricity, possibly.
They could have had electricity, or they could have had something even more advanced than what we call electricity.
Right. But what's interesting, I don't know if you knew this or not, but they found a hieroglyph that... Too close to the mic. They found a hieroglyph that almost portrays a light bulb-like image. Look at this thing. Yeah, it looks like a light bulb.
It does.
So they believe that possibly they may have had some sort of light bulb, or maybe aliens brought this technology with them perhaps time traveling aliens even
What?
brought this object to them, because in the hieroglyph, it almost looks like there's some sort of beings with elongated objects that portrays enormous light bulbs. So maybe they use something like that inside the pyramids. Or inside the pyramids. So interesting.
It's really interesting.
And there's literally a hieroglyph they found that literally looks like they're holding giant light bulbs.
That I wouldn't be shocked. But I really think it's something different than what we had. It was probably more,
Yeah, it was probably some other type of technology.
different. Well, I feel like we would have seen traces of it, some type of electrics, Wouldn't we have found something that would explain that? I feel like we would have been able to figure that out. But the fact that we can't figure it out says to me that it wasn't something similar to what we have now. Because we'd be familiar with it and we would understand, but we don't.
Yeah, we don't understand at all. We have no clue. We still don't have any idea.
Mm-mm.
And any historian or academic scholar that tells you differently is lying.
Yeah.
We don't know. And
we don't know a lot. And the pyramids are the biggest mystery because the Egyptians documented like everything they did, really everything.
Their language
but
is very
the pyramids,
advanced.
They didn't document the pyramids. And you think they would have written down who wrote them, how they did it, or who built them, how they did it. But they didn't. They didn't even document anything about them or like what their purpose was even. So they're the biggest mystery on Earth, literally the biggest mystery on Earth.
Right.
I wish more people were like aware of like how interesting it is. They just like people are just like, oh yeah, those big triangle rocks out in the desert in Egypt from the ancient times. No one like cares. It's like sad. They were obviously really, really important. And they were all covered in limestone too, which I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's really weird.
They removed it all. It was all removed. They don't know why.
Was it weathered off or was it like removed by something?
I don't know actually. Let me look it up.
But an also interesting fact about the three pyramids is that, like I said earlier, they were aligned with the position of the three stars in the belt of Orion in 10,500 BC. And we know that based upon the night sky at that time, it matches up with where the pyramids are and where they point to.
So they put this other layer of blocks on top of it. See how that? It literally looks like
probably
snow.
so beautiful.
Yeah, it's like when they were probably
light.
gorgeous actually. And there's a lot of people that want them to restore it, but they think if they try to do it, it could like ruin them.
They just come crumbling down? Probably not though.
Yeah, but I guess they would put a block covered in shining metal, either gold or electrum. And then they put limestone over it. So that's what a lot of people think, that it could be, the pyramids could have been a powerhouse, a power plant of some type of energy producer, because what it was covered in could keep energy inside.
Which is why they built it in the pyramid shape.
Like, did they do this for visual effect,
purpose?
for cosmetic effect, or was there a purpose to it being, gold or electrum and then limestone on top of that?
Yeah, I don't know. But what's very interesting about it is the actual shape, the fact that they built pyramids instead of like maybe a tall tower or something,
Yeah.
The fact that they built just a giant pyramid. Why the pyramid?
Well, if it was a power plant, can I talk about that?
Yeah.
I've heard, I don't know much about chemistry and science and everything. But
I don't know.
I heard someone who
actually.
does explain it like this. So apparently in these chambers, there was like salt found on the walls. And so they kind of think that they could have used like the two different shafts. And in one shaft, they were putting down hydrated zinc, and the other one would have diluted hydrochloric acid, and then it would combine with the hydrated zinc and create hydrogen, which would become really light and float up, and then would flow out a microwave. So that's, if you saw our crop circles video, there's a giant
So
crop
they were utilizing
circle.
microwave energy.
They could have been,
Waves?
the pyramids could have been a way to produce microwave energy. And like basically have this continuous beam that would always be on, that could always be used and they could access, which if they were using stuff like that, that could explain how they built the pyramids.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah, really interesting.
And a lot of people don't know this, but the Great Pyramids actually have 8 sides.
Yeah.
Which is, I didn't know that.
No, they're like kind of inverted. So each side of the 4 sides has another, like has a crease.
It's an optical illusion.
Like from the top, and like certain days,
you can only see it from the sky. You can only see the 8 sides from the sky.
Yeah.
From flying over it. Which only deepens the mystery further, because if you thought building a giant pyramid was hard enough, they built a giant pyramid that had inverted sides to make 8 sides instead of 4.
So it was fucking perfect.
It was
a work of art.
A work of aliens. It was the aliens, dude. I'm telling you. This is
crazy.
You know what? It's crazy.
Possibly the aliens. We can't just like assume it is.
I think there's a very good possibility that in 10,500 BC, extraterrestrials returned to Earth, came down and helped them build it, or actually maybe even built it for them, in order to show them that if you build these pyramids and line them up with the stars in a certain way, there's a way to unlock
Earth's natural energy.
Earth's natural energy that it
maybe
produces.
We were closer to becoming a type 1 planet back then, or maybe we were a type 1 planet.
That's what I'm saying. I think we were, and we've regressed.
Wow.
And because
hang on, what do I do if I have to go to the bathroom during this? Because I have to pee really bad.
Hold it.
Hold it.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Or you can quietly try to leave with minimal noise. I mean, we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon. So.
Oh my god, it's already almost done.
Yeah, we're almost done here. So just hold it.
Okay, I gotta pee real fast.
Just hold it.
No, I'm sorry.
Just hold it.
I can't. You don't understand. It's hard to be a woman.
Oh my gosh.
I'll be back.
All right.
Josh, I have to pee.
Oh my gosh. Nobody leaves in the middle of recording a podcast.
Kendall, right?
I'm alone. Don't come back, actually. This is my podcast now. But anyways, so what's interesting is that there's all these pyramids. In fact, there's thousands of pyramids across the entire world in all of these different countries. And there's so much evidence for this, by the way. And so maybe all of these pyramids, these thousands of pyramids that exist, maybe aliens at some point in our history came to Earth and told all of us humans that were here at the time, or the civilizations that were here, that there's this energy field that surrounds the planet that you can tap into for limitless energy. It allows you to create this type of technologies that can literally revolutionize your society and give you so many more advanced features and technologies that they didn't have previously. So ancient astronaut theorists, as they're called, believe that aliens actually helped them build these pyramids, or built them for them, and also taught all these other ancient civilizations around the world how to do it as well. And what they made is this massive cohesive network of pyramids that all generate this type of energy field, or aura, actually. And this is actually something that somebody by the name Joe Parr has actually studied extensively over his career. And what he's studied is that pyramids, he's actually tested this in a lab. Pyramids have the ability to basically block electromagnetic and gamma rays and act as a time machine, possibly, and giving them the ability to open a portal to other dimensions, possibly. So that's another caveat to this alien theory about the pyramids, is that maybe these pyramids were a time machine for aliens, and maybe the aliens actually were able to come to our planet because these pyramids were in use. Or maybe the Egyptians knew how to utilize the pyramids as time machines, which is very interesting. And I'm not smart enough to explain all the work that Joe Parr did on this subject, but he actually spent the night on top of the Great Pyramids studying the electromagnetic field around the pyramids. And he's also tested this in a lab, and he believes that the pyramids could allow you to access hyperspace,
Wow. Interesting.
which is very interesting
I
to
wouldn't
think
be
about.
shocked.
So bottom line is that these pyramids, I think there was a lot more to them than just a cool thing to look at, or a burial site, or, you know, a sacred place, a temple type place. So there's obviously something more to it. What do you think?
I mean, I just think it was clearly not built by them.
Yeah.
I was curious because I was thinking about it. Like, I don't know. I didn't know how much. A ton is 2,000 pounds. So the stones were about 4,000 pounds each. For those of you who don't know, like, what a ton is, like me.
Yeah, that's extremely heavy.
That's so heavy. And did you know if they cut them all into 1 foot square blocks, it would extend 2/3 of the way around the earth?
That's so much.
That's so
And what did they use to
much.
cut stone?
Dude, the wheel wasn't even created yet, apparently.
Yeah, and
So bullshit.
people think they just like put them on sleds and use what? Cattle
so
to pull it?
people expect us to believe that they understood pi but didn't know how to build a damn wheel. What? Like, what kind
No.
of bullshit is that?
Absolutely not, because they knew the earth was round.
They knew how to map the stars
But they
to
can't build a wheel
measure a
to build.
year, but they couldn't build a wheel. And they knew about all the different planets. Oh my God. It almost makes me sick thinking of how misled people are, because that's what you learn in school. They could barely do anything. Just a bunch of just running around, writing on walls.
It
pulling
almost
people's
makes me
brains out.
angry that in school they don't teach you all these other theories. They give you one
does make me
version of
angry.
events. One version of events.
Yeah, this is
Slaves
why.
built it, end of story. That's it. And it was just this.
And they just
primitive
force people
society.
to work really hard.
Yeah,
Like, no.
no, that's not what happened, folks. It's not.
No,
There's
and most people
science to
won't
back
even
it up.
try to like think of anything other than what they have been told is true. And it's a shame because there's so much more to explore than just this. And you're right. Like, it makes me very angry that the schools don't teach this, because I want my kids to get a good education and learn. And I've realized that in order for them to learn to think really critically and further than just the BS version we get of everything, I'm going to have to teach them myself. So maybe I'll homeschool. I mean, who knows? I probably shouldn't. I did go to school to be a teacher for 3 years, though. Maybe I could.
But it just doesn't make sense. And
Yeah.
And the reason why we get the events we get the story that we do is because we usually, when we look at history, a lot of the history books, and especially in schools, the history books are based upon the history that the Bible gives us. It really
this is
does.
Interesting.
It really does, because the Bible, listen to this. The Bible says that the pyramids were used to store grain. You think they built those to store grain, folks?
Oh my God, this is wild. Can I share this?
Yes.
Okay, so if you take the perimeter of the pyramid and divide it by 2 times the height, you get a number that is exactly equivalent to the number of pi, up to the 15th digit.
What?
How like,
did
what
they
are the
know
chances
that?
of
How
that
did
just
they know that?
happening?
Yeah.
That's very, very small chances of that just have been by accident.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense at all. Not at all. That's crazy, though. They had advanced mathematics,
Yes,
knowledge
of
of
course they
mathematics.
did.
They knew, I mean, they knew geometry.
And they were doing things back then that we can't figure out how to do today.
Bizarre. So bizarre.
Every angle in the base is exactly 90 degrees.
And it's like space precision. Like this is so precise
Yeah.
that we literally are just so baffled by it. Scientists are so baffled by it because we have no clue how they possibly did this.
No.
But one other thing I wanted to bring up, theory per se, I wanted to bring up about this is a theory put forward by author and historian Graham Hancock, which he has written a number of books, but he made this particular argument in his book, Magicians of the Gods, which, if you don't know who Graham Hancock is, he is I think he's English, but he's a very interesting dude, and he's not a historian by academic standards. He's kind of more of a self-taught kind of guy, but he's literally like investigated these things, been there, looked at them, done all the research, and the conclusion that he's come up with is that perhaps there was an advanced civilization that existed prior to ancient Egypt that was around during the last ice age, the end of the last ice age, that was actually wiped out by a huge comet. And
is that 12,000 years ago?
Prior to that. So this is before that. So he believes that. So basically his theory is that prior to the Egyptians, this ancient civilization built the pyramids prior, possibly, and used it to store their knowledge about the stars, space, the planet, all this advanced knowledge, how to build this technology.
They also think that they could have really been putting, the Sphinx was really where the knowledge was kept. And there's actually, like, they just did a seismograph on the Sphinx, and they found out that there's this like hidden chamber inside of it, and we can't go in there and see what it is. Like, so they might be able to send a probe if they get enough like strong evidence of this.
Right.
But it's possible that they were storing knowledge, and if we get into that chamber, there might be a lot in there.
Right. And that apparently, I didn't catch this part, but apparently in Graham Hancock's investigations, his book claimed that the survivors of this cataclysm, so they actually survived. It didn't wipe them off the face of the planet. I thought it wiped them off, but no. There was survivors of this cataclysm that occurred, and folks, we actually know that this happened. We know for a fact that a comet hit the Earth around 11,000 BC. We actually found ancient stone carvings that confirm this.
Wow. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
And we're talking about the last ice age, which wiped out the woolly mammoths. But survivors of this cataclysm, which included the giant flood, actually settled in locations from Mexico to Egypt with their ancient knowledge.
And imagine what they had. Like, dude, and it's crazy because they burned the Library of Alexandria. They burned like all the books in there.
So much of this information's been lost.
So much has been burned. Literally, it could possibly be the origins of life, the meaning of life.
Exactly. They could have literally, this is how it began.
Yeah.
Or actual written proof of aliens. They could literally say, this particular species
terrible.
Came to this planet, and maybe we all come from aliens.
Yeah, you'd think at some point someone did write it down. Like, obviously someone did record, like, right? Why wouldn't they? It's like bizarre that information's just gone. It's like it was purposely hidden.
Obviously it was. It was obviously
purposely suppressed.
They wanted to destroy it. And Graham Hancock believes that possibly the pyramids of Giza were designed to store books of knowledge written by this ancient civilization, and that the Great Sphinx actually was there prior to the ancient Egyptians by many thousands of years. The Great Sphinx. So that's very interesting to think about, because that's also a very possible scenario, and there's actually more evidence being dug up that supports this theory, actually, which I have to kind of agree with Graham Hancock. This makes a lot of sense, actually. And Graham Hancock, he has faced a lot of criticism for these claims, because he's basically going against all these Egyptologists that tell this different story, the one that we learned in school. And so they don't like to hear that they're possibly wrong. And they think he's a kooky dude.
Yeah, and like news sources and stuff have like tried to discredit him over the years. Wasn't it NPR that really did?
Yeah, he got burned on TV bad. Yeah. So he gave a TED talk on consciousness, and they banned it.
Oh my God.
So this guy is full of a lot of
How can you ban someone's
truth.
TED talk on consciousness?
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh, he's brilliant. He knows a lot. And they've tried to destroy him so much over the years.
Oh yeah, they've taken taking shots at his credibility over and over again. But he's done a lot of research around this, and if you want to know more about it, look up Magicians of the Gods. And there's so much more to it. I've been meaning to read his book. I haven't yet, so that's on the list of things to do. But tons of interesting theories as to how ancient Egypt got started and how they built these amazing pyramids. So I don't know. What do you think out of the 3 theories that we talked about? Did aliens build them? Did slaves build them? Or did the Egyptians themselves just figure it out?
I mean,
or
I have
did an
no
advanced
idea.
civilization have the knowledge to build them? What do you think?
I honestly don't know.
You're just going to take the I don't know approach? You're not going to pick one?
I mean, my gut tells me that the pyramids were either built with a different... What?
Move that down. You can't have it touching that. Yeah.
Oh,
You're picking
sorry.
up stuff. Yeah.
I forgot what I was saying.
What was your thought of...
I don't know. I just
how
really
they were
think
built?
that the knowledge of how they were built is at least not of this world. Like the way that they did it, if it was the Egyptians, is not of this world, or it was built by someone not of this world. That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously something more going on here. I think there's a higher level of knowledge that's been lost that they had and could have been extraterrestrial. It could have been just an ancient civilization. You know, I think that there's been probably, just like in these civilizations, periods of human history that are not recorded, that we don't have knowledge of because
Absolutely.
there's no physical proof of it anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it's very hard for people to wrap their head around that and think that maybe at one point, I mean, this planet's been around for billions of years. Maybe at different points in history and even human history, there's been advanced civilizations. I mean, there could have been even up to a type 1 civilization possibly, and then it got wiped out by a comet. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Who really knows? We don't know. And there's also a chance that maybe a lot of the stuff in regards to ancient Egypt, and maybe there's a lot of stuff that is still yet to be uncovered, and maybe is just buried in under hundreds of feet of sand or something. Or, you know,
yeah.
another
That's totally
theory
possible.
is that maybe Atlantis helped out. Maybe they helped out with the pyramids. And because what was interesting that we found out recently was that I didn't even realize this, but the Egyptians knew how to sail the sea, and they knew how to sail to different parts.
Oh, yeah.
You know, to different continents. And
yeah, dude, the Greeks would visit the Egyptians for psychedelic trips. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
They did. They were using
definitely
psychedelics
tripping.
back then.
Oh, yeah.
And the Greeks would come that far, and it would take them so long. Well, maybe it didn't. We would think it would take them a long time, but it's possible.
We're like, they were
it didn't
just
take that
rowing
long.
their boats along for miles.
Yeah, when they
Maybe.
knew all these complex things. Yeah, right.
No, they had
God,
something. They had
Wouldn't
some
it be
energy.
such a shame if someone does know the truth about this and it's just been completely hidden?
Or like there's an ancient Egyptian book that they're just like have locked away in a vault underground somewhere.
That one is
What if there was like a book of life that explained everything from the very beginning?
Oh my God.
And it's just hidden away somewhere, or maybe it's lost. And another thing that Graham Hancock believes is that the Ark of the Covenant was an advanced piece of technology, possibly alien even.
Wow. Damn.
So there's so many caveats to ancient Egyptian history and their accomplishments. It could go on, and they just continue to make more and more discoveries that suggest that extraterrestrials were involved with their civilization in some way, shape, or form.
Or they at least were aware of extraterrestrials at the very minimum. Or they had like knowledge that was passed down from it.
I mean, they were definitely in tune with space. They were definitely in tune with the stars.
In the universe and the idea of energy. And,
absolutely.
The idea of life being eternal and like this like mysterious force that we can't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely believed in that.
Along with King Tut, they actually found a dagger made out of a meteorite, which
that's so cool.
Which sounds
oh my God,
crazy. I mean,
Wow.
How did they know? They
it must contain something that's like powerful. What if he had like a way to make that work better?
Or
Like
what
there
if it was given to him by
Oh yeah.
otherworldly beings?
Ancient alien theorists say yes.
Ancient astronaut theories say yes.
Ancient astronaut
Theorists, yeah.
All right, well, we are 1 hour and 30 minutes into this.
It's good. We're good. Another thing real quick.
Okay.
No, I was just going to mention a few other things just real quick.
Okay.
But
we do have friends coming over really soon.
But they actually found coins that appear to have an alien on them. It literally looks like a straight up gray alien on the coin.
Should I Google it?
Yeah, pull it up real quick. Just type in alien coin Egypt.
Coin.
Yeah, these coins literally have little gray alien or gray aliens or some alien. Look at that.
Oh my God.
What the hell is that? Is that an ancient
You guys,
Egyptian?
you have to Google this. Just literally type
Come
in alien
on,
coin
people.
Egypt. Oh my God.
Unless
Wow.
Egyptians just looked like.
Dude. Oh my God. That's actually, now I believe it even more. That is wild. You guys, you have got to look this up. Literally ancient Egypt alien coin.
Yeah, it's a straight up alien on the coin.
Oh my God. And there's like ones of UFOs too, and like
Yep.
arrows pointing down.
And tons of different.
God.
Dude, there's a hieroglyph
Oh
that
my God.
portrays a straight up what looks like a helicopter and a plane. Look at that right there where your mouse is. Look at that hieroglyph. That's a hieroglyph they found. Does that not look like a plane
Oh my
or
God.
some sort of spaceship
Whoa.
and a helicopter? That's a straight up hieroglyph. Look at that.
Oh my God. You're gonna have to like link some of this.
What
for
even?
people
Yeah,
to
we'll
see.
we'll link all of this in the description for you guys, and this time I'll try to make a table of contents too, so you guys can click around and.
Oh my God, dude.
Isn't
That
that
is the most
bizarre,
wild
right?
thing. What if at one point there's seriously like aliens were part of our society and the information has seriously been suppressed? Like it's almost scary to think about like we were disconnected from our truth.
Absolutely, it's totally possible.
Oh my God, this is so wild.
They were in tune.
When you see it, you're gonna be like, oh my God, there were definitely aliens in Egypt.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many
Wild.
hieroglyphs that are so questionable that support this. I mean, that there's no way that.
What if we're
Figure
just
is a-
half alien?
Yeah, I mean, unless maybe over thousands of years we used to look like aliens
Ugh.
with elongated heads.
That literally gives me chills. Damn.
Craziness.
What is this? Mystery of 24 alien black boxes discovered near Egypt's pyramids of Giza. They weigh more than 100 tons. They're solid granite.
Huh.
What?
They're black boxes. That's crazy.
Yeah. Sinister coffin-shaped boxes discovered buried in a hillside cave system 12 miles south of the Great Pyramids. Giant, look at these giant blocks.
Yeah, no, actually I remember reading about those. Yeah, those are crazy.
They have some hieroglyphs, but they're poor quality.
There's so much stuff.
No one knows the purpose of it.
We are so confused by them. We have no idea what they were doing. No clue.
My God. This is wild.
Hieroglyphs are so cool. I love their written writing.
I know. I like to think that, like, I like to believe in past lives and that maybe I was an Egyptian because it's just so cool. Well, I did a past life reading on my channel and she said I was an Egyptian man. So maybe I am.
But there is this Egyptologist by the name of Flinders Petrie. And
Flinders Petrie sounds like the best science name
I
ever.
know.
Yo, I'm Flinders Petrie.
Yeah, but apparently this guy actually found alien artifacts possibly and he has them in his collection, but
Wow.
they've disappeared.
Someone took them from him?
Yeah,
Oh, great.
I believe so. And
That's
there's also evidence of hieroglyphs on UFOs that have crashed possibly. Did you remember hearing about that at Roswell? That the Roswell craft had hieroglyphs on it?
Yeah, I did hear that actually.
That's pretty interesting.
Mm.
There's so much evidence, guys. I mean,
And if you're just learning about a lot of this stuff and you're just like, whoa, How the hell is no one talking about this? Well, welcome to the Mile Higher podcast. We are taking things a mile higher, and we're going to be teaching you some crazy shit. You are going to be so woke by the time we're done making podcasts.
Which is never, guys.
Never.
We're never going to stop.
We're
podcasters for life. For life.
Good. Well, I hope you guys learned something new. I certainly did.
Absolutely.
And I've been stretching my brain here.
Absolutely. This was an extremely interesting podcast. I love talking about this stuff. We could talk about it for hours probably, but that's all the time we have for today. But thank you all for joining us.
Wait, this is one last little interesting part. I did want to say this. There was fungi found in King Tutu's chamber.
King Tutu's?
Yeah, and this fungi had never been seen on Earth.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Seriously though. What the hell?
That's what I say every day when I learn everything. What the fuck?
They still don't know. And one other thing, they just found a hidden chamber in the Great Pyramid that we didn't even know about. Like
in the Great Pyramid?
Yeah. There's a hidden chamber in there. Remember that?
Remember
hearing about that?
No, yeah, there is. I didn't know that they had just found it though. I thought they knew about it.
No, they just found it with what is it? Sonar almost? It's like they used
seismograph.
No, not seismograph. No.
Is that wrong? Did I say that wrong earlier?
I'm pretty sure that's wrong.
Well, that's what I heard.
Seismograph is like measuring like the ground movement, like the Earth's movement. I think they use sonar or something like that. Or it was basically using lasers. They were able to see through the thick stone walls, and there's a hidden chamber. So they're trying to investigate it. They're going to try to send a robot,
it's a seismic
drone into
survey.
It.
Yes, it is a seismograph.
For what though? What? Never mind.
Discover,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But anyways, we haven't even fully discovered the Great Pyramids. There could even be artifacts in there that prove everything we just talked about. We just have no idea. So
a seismography survey is used to explore several tunnels and cavities.
Right, but this recent discovery was something different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, was like kind of groundbreaking. So now they're going to try to send like maybe like a drone into it or something. But who knows what we'll uncover in there. I mean, there could be maybe this ancient technology's hidden there. Maybe the Ark of the Covenant's there. Who knows? But
oh my God, I would love to know.
stuff.
Why don't we just go in there and find out? I just don't understand.
Because we'd have to blast away the walls. Like we can't get to it because it's literally like locked in there. So it's like, what's in there for one?
It's clearly meant to be protected.
What the hell's in the locked chamber though?
That's crazy.
I don't know. We'll leave you with that thought. What's hidden in the Great Pyramid?
Maybe we'll find out in our lifetime, guys.
Maybe with microscopic robots that can like go through the tiny little cracks.
Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if by the time we die.
We know the secrets of life.
Yeah.
But
life is eternal, right? All
cheers
right.
to that. Cheers to that.
1 hour and 40 minutes long. So
thank you all for joining us.
Hope you guys stayed through that.
Thank you all for joining us for episode 2.
Yes.
Investigating the ancient mysteries of the pyramids in Egypt.
Yes. Oh, and Josh, you should tell them about our revamped Patreon.
Yes. Obviously, the podcast is free. So if you do feel like helping us out with the podcast, we always appreciate your guys' support. And we have revamped our Patreon where you can become a patron. There's different levels and there's different tiers per se.
It's going to be a lot better than the one I was running.
But yes, yeah. I mean,
I struggled with Patreon.
We kind of made it and then left it alone. So we're going to take it seriously this time. It's now a joint Patreon. It's patreon.com/milehigher. There's new reward tiers. There's all kinds of cool stuff. So go check that out if you feel like becoming a patron. That really helps us out. Because we really need
supporters more than ever right now. Like everything going on YouTube is so scary. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be real for a second. I made a 40-minute video yesterday on the Johnny Gosh story, and it got demonetized. And every video I've uploaded for the last 2 weeks, including videos of my grandmother making meatballs, and the one about the guy who hit his head and became a savant. Like these are not violent videos. I mean, I guess the Johnny Gosh one I can understand, but like everything is being demonetized, and like my ad revenue is down so low right now. So it's just like we could really use, support so that we don't have to like rely on a company that doesn't want us spreading this type of stuff. It's like hard when that's who we have to rely on.
Right.
So
And
it frees us to speak freely and allows us to talk about the things that we want to that are not
important,
friendly.
Absolutely important that everybody needs to hear. So
Yeah.
that's why we're, encouraging the Patreon, but by no means are we forcing
Requiring
any
it.
of you or requiring any of you to even go to the page.
Yeah.
We
would
don't
just really
care.
appreciate it if you
If you're feeling,
enjoy our work.
absolutely. And again, the reward tiers have been revamped. Go check those out. There's some cool stuff in there,
Yeah.
giving you exclusive access to us to ask questions and things like that on the podcast, as well as just channel video ideas, all sorts
Yeah.
of things. So definitely check that out.
And we will be coming out with merch for the podcast soon. I've been getting tons of questions about that. That should be pretty soon here.
Mile Higher merch is
Mile
coming.
Higher merch.
So thank you all for joining us and going a mile higher with us.
Yes, super fun.
Episode 2, tons of fun. Looking forward to the future. More amazing trippy topics coming up.
Yes.
Get
in
ready.
fact, next week we already have a great idea. So
Yes,
we're
it's
getting
gonna-
ready.
It's going to blow your mind. If today didn't, next week will.
Okay.
But you want to cue the music?
Oh yeah. I forgot.
Cue the music.
Cue the music. And by the way, I think we are on iTunes now. So
Yeah,
if
we
you
are.
want, what other things should we?
Yes.
Are we on Spotify yet? Will
No,
we be on Spotify
Spotify's
ever?
picky, so hopefully we'll get on Spotify. But again, it really helps us out too if you can't become a patron. If you just go and leave us a review on our podcast, that would be awesome. A written review is even better. So if you're feeling nice, go do that for us.
Yeah,
really help
seriously,
us
that's
out.
a way to help as well.
But that's it for today. We are out, friends.
We'll see you next time.
Taking
Keep
it a mile higher.
Show me